One of the most intriguing aspects of this ancient civilization is their complex belief system, particularly their fascinating ideas about the afterlife. What if I told you that this ancient culture might have actually predicted our modern conceptions of the afterlife? Join me on this journey through time as we explore the remarkable similarities between ancient Egyptian beliefs and our contemporary ideas about what lies beyond. Prepare to be amazed by the profound insights these millennial beliefs offer into our own modern perspectives on death, the cosmos, and the eternal mysteries of existence. Welcome to my channel. In today's episode, we delve deep into the realm of ancient Egyptian beliefs, uncovering their predictions about our modern ideas of the afterlife. Before we begin, please support us by subscribing. Let's embark on this enlightening journey together. The ancient Egyptians believed that after a person died, their soul would embark on a perilous journey through the underworld known as the Duat. This place was neither a paradise nor a punishment, but rather a series of challenges and trials that the soul had to overcome to reach the field of reeds. A blissful afterlife reserved for the righteous. Sounds familiar? Well, it echoes the modern belief in a judgmental heaven and hell. One of the most striking similarities between the ancient Egyptian underworld and our modern conceptions of the afterlife is the concept of a final judgment. In ancient Egypt, the deceased's heart was weighed against the feather of Mat, the goddess of truth, balance, and justice, with the ceremony performed by Anubis, the guardian of the scales. Those whose hearts were found wanting, symbolizing a life lived in falsehood or imbalance, were condemned to wander the earth as a disembodied spirit. On the other hand, those who passed the test were allowed to proceed to the field of reeds. This mirrors our modern belief in a final judgment after death, where individuals are held accountable for their actions during their lifetime and are granted access to either a heavenly paradise or a hellish torment. In ancient Egypt, Osiris was the supreme god of the underworld and the judge of the dead. He was also the god of death and resurrection, symbolizing the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Osiris's wife, Isis, was the goddess of magic, and her son, Horus, was the god of kingship, and the pharaohs were considered to be the earthly embodiment of Horus. Together, they formed a divine family that played a central role in the Egyptian religion. In ancient Egyptian culture, mummification was not just a means of preserving the body, but a ritual aimed at ensuring the successful journey of the soul into the afterlife. During the mummification process, the internal organs were carefully removed and preserved separately. This practice may seem bizarre to us today, but it holds a deeper meaning when viewed through the lens of ancient Egyptian beliefs. They believed that the body was a vessel for the soul, and that it needed to be preserved intact in order for the soul to recognize it upon its return. This mirrors our modern fascination with cryonics, a process of preserving human bodies at extremely low temperatures in the hope of future revival. While cryonics is still a controversial and futuristic concept, the ancient Egyptians' desire to keep the body intact for the soul's return resonates with the underlying principles behind it. Both practices demonstrate a deep reverence for the body and a belief in the possibility of resurrection or reunion with one's physical form in some shape or form. The ancient Egyptians kept funerary texts, including the Book of the Dead, which contained spells and instructions for navigating the afterlife. These texts were placed in tombs to assist the deceased on their journey through the underworld. The Book of the Dead, also known as the Book of the Going Forth by Day, was a collection of funerary texts, spells, and instructions that were designed to guide the deceased through the treacherous journey of the afterlife. It served as a manual for the dead, providing them with the necessary tools and knowledge to overcome the various obstacles and challenges that lay ahead. Within the pages of the Book of the Dead, one would find a variety of spells and incantations that were intended to protect the deceased from harm and guide them safely to their final destination. For example, there were spells to ward off evil spirits and malevolent deities. as well as spells to assist the deceased in their journey through the underworld. These spells were not mere incantations, but rather powerful tools that were meant to be used by the deceased to navigate the complexities of the afterlife. The Book of the Dead also contained instructions for various rituals and ceremonies that were to be performed by the living on behalf of the deceased. These rituals were not only intended to help the deceased on their journey, but also to honor and respect them. For instance, the book provided guidance on how to properly conduct funeral rites and what offerings to make to the gods of the underworld. By following these instructions, the living could ensure that the deceased had a smooth transition into the afterlife. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Book of the Dead was its inclusion of mythological tales and religious beliefs. The ancient Egyptians had a rich mythology, and many of these stories were incorporated into the book to provide the deceased with guidance and encouragement. Tales of the gods and goddesses, as well as stories of the afterlife, were woven throughout the text, creating a narrative that the deceased could follow. This not only helped to orient the deceased in the afterlife, but also served as a source of comfort and reassurance. Tomb inscriptions and art played a vital role in ancient Egyptian burial rituals. They were not merely decorative elements, but served a deeper purpose. The inscriptions often included spells and blessings intended to protect the deceased and guide their soul. For example, one common inscription was a prayer to the gods for a safe journey of the soul through the underworld. These inscriptions acted as a form of communication between the living and the dead, ensuring that the deceased received the necessary support and guidance as they ventured into the realm of the afterlife. The ancient Egyptians believed that the river Nile was the embodiment of the god Hapi. They associated Hapi with fertility, abundance, and the annual flooding that enriched the soil and allowed for bountiful harvests. The Nile River was central to Egyptian life, providing not only a source of water, but also a means of transportation and a lifeblood for agriculture. As such, the Egyptians personified the river as a deity, believing that it possessed a divine power over their fate. Ancient Egyptian tombs were adorned with intricate artwork that depicted scenes from the deceased's life, as well as images of the afterlife. These paintings and sculptures served multiple purposes. Firstly, they were meant to entertain and educate the deceased in the afterlife, providing them with a form of companionship and diversion. Secondly, the artwork served as a form of ancestor veneration, allowing the living to pay homage to their deceased loved ones. The tombs were not just places of burial, but also shrines where the living could connect with the dead through the visual representations of their lives and beliefs. The ancient Egyptians used various symbols to represent eternal life, one of the most prominent being the Ankh. This symbol, which resembled a cross with a loop at the top, was believed to hold immense power and was associated with immortality, regeneration, and the everlasting cycle of life. The Ankh was often depicted in artwork alongside gods and pharaohs, symbolizing their divine status and their connection to the realm of the gods. Interestingly, this symbol has seen a resurgence in modern times, appearing in various forms of pop culture, tattoos, and jewelry. Its enduring appeal lies in its representation of eternal life and a human desire to overcome death. The ancient Egyptians kept pet animals, including cats, dogs, baboons, and ibises, mummified them along with their owners. They believed that these animals would serve as companions for their owners in the afterlife and would assist them in their journey through the underworld. This practice reflects the Egyptians' deep reverence for animal life and their belief in the continuity of companionship even in the afterlife. It also highlights their desire to ensure a smooth and comfortable transition for their beloved pets, demonstrating a level of compassion and care that transcended the boundaries of species. The ancient Egyptians believed that the sun god Ra traveled across the sky each day in a solar boat, battling the forces of chaos and darkness. They saw the daily cycle of sunrise and sunset as a symbolic death and resurrection of the sun, which mirrored the Egyptians' own experiences of life and death. This belief in the sun's daily journey led them to view death as a temporary state and emphasized the importance of maintaining cosmic order. Ancient Egyptian beliefs in the afterlife had a profound impact on their art and storytelling, shaping the way they depicted the journey of the soul and the world beyond. The Egyptians created detailed narratives and imagery that showcased their understanding of the afterlife and the various challenges and rewards that awaited the deceased. These artistic representations not only served as a means of communicating religious beliefs, but also as a way to cope with the universal human experience of death. Through their art, the Egyptians were able to express their fears, hopes, and beliefs surrounding the afterlife, creating a legacy that has continued to fascinate and influence cultures throughout history. We can see similar themes in modern religions like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, which share common beliefs in judgment, resurrection, and eternal life. These parallels suggest a shared human desire to find meaning and continuity beyond death. Even in different corners of the world, ancient Egyptian beliefs echo in modern spiritual practices and symbolism. The ancient Egyptians believed that the heart was the center of a person's being, containing the life force or soul. This belief led them to preserve the heart during mummification, as they believed it was essential for the individual's identity and journey in the afterlife. Interestingly, modern scientific studies have shown that the heart plays a crucial role in human consciousness and emotions, further connecting the ancient Egyptian beliefs with contemporary understanding. In ancient Egypt, the goddess Nephthys was associated with protection, magic, and the afterlife. She was often depicted as a woman with the head of a dog, or a woman wearing a house on her head, symbolizing her role as a guardian of the home and the dead. Her association with the afterlife is particularly relevant, as she was one of the 4 goddesses that guided the deceased through the underworld. In modern times, Nephthys has found a place in popular culture, appearing in novels and films where she is often portrayed as a powerful and enigmatic figure. So does ancient Egypt hold the key to our beliefs in the afterlife. While it's impossible to say definitively, the similarities between their beliefs and our modern conceptions are truly fascinating. From the concept of a final judgment to the journey of the soul through the underworld. Ancient Egyptian beliefs have left an indelible mark on our understanding of death and what lies beyond. Whether we believe in an afterlife in its traditional sense or explore these concepts metaphorically, the ancient Egyptians' ideas continue to resonate with us today. Their beliefs serve as a reminder of the human quest for meaning and understanding in the face of mortality and the eternal mysteries of the universe. Thank you for joining us on this journey through ancient Egyptian beliefs and their surprising connections to our modern ideas of the afterlife. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Your support means everything to us. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember that the ancient world continues to hold profound insights that shape our understanding of the world and ourselves.